All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. The name of the video is America announces new rule to stop foreigners from bringing their backwards ways into the US. All right, let's see where this video takes us, guys. Let's do it.
Well, some shocking news out of the United States this week, where United States Citizenship and Immigration Services made the shocking announcement that they are going to update their guidance to prevent, and boy, this just tells you how bad things are in Trump's America. They're updating their guidance to prevent anti-American foreigners from receiving visas to immigrate.
That's fine. Like, if that's the metric, then that's completely fine.
God. Well, frankly, that's a common sense change, long overdue.
Right.
To discuss this and more, let's bring in author and host of the Carol Marowitz Show, Carol Marowitz. Carol, I was absolutely stunned to see that people were absolutely upset about this idea that if you're anti-American, you can't get a visa to go to America. Why would you want to in the first place?
Right.
Right. Well, I think it's because people think, oh, I'm American and I hate this country. Why can't we import more people just like me? And I think that idea is crazy. Obviously, I'm an immigrant to this country. And when I was a child, I did the whole immigration process. We did the whole becoming a citizen process. And you have to kind of prove that you are going to be a worthy American, that you are going to, be the best that this country offers, that you're going to live up to the values. And we sort of have moved away from that, where it doesn't matter anymore. And you're encouraged to bring your terrible backwards ways into the United States. I'd love to see that reversed a little bit. I'd love to see it become that you need to prove that you want to come to America and be American and be everything that means in the best way possible.
Yeah, but how are they going to actually test for that, though? Like, I mean, let's just be completely honest. If you're really just trying to get into America, and most people just want to come here to make money, to send back to their country, in the form of remittance, that's basically the only reason why people generally want to come here. It's not our healthcare, guys. I mean, most of us are fed. You get what I'm saying here, guys? It's not our food. Like, I mean, they're here for the money, right? So I can only imagine that what they're going to start doing then, obviously, is stop posting about craziness about America on the internet, because the visa process is going to deeply search into their, let's say, their history online. Most likely, it's the only way that they can prove anything. I would suspect here, because most people are not just going to say they strongly detest America, like in those words. You get what I'm saying here? So how are they going to actually do that?
Yeah, I agree completely. I can't believe that people were losing their minds about this. But I want to talk about now also another American institution. There's a restaurant chain called Cracker Barrel, and maybe Australians haven't heard of it, but it's a very sort of classic American down-home kind of restaurant chain.
There's nothing classic about Cracker Barrel, bro. That's the most bland. That's the most bland. Like, bro, if you please go somewhere else if you want to eat, bro. Basically, that's kind of where I'm at with Cracker Barrel, bro. I've been there twice and I've been disappointed. I've been disappointed both times. All right. It tastes like nothing. It tastes like air. I'm not sure they utilize anything other than like salt and pepper, if that makes any sense here. I'm not sure they do that. But okay.
Anyway, their shares have plunged by 20% after their new CEO decided to redesign the logo that stripped away both the cracker and the barrel, but also it's come out that they're doing a broader woke rebranding, have been involved in all sorts of pride events and things of this kind of nature. It sounds like they're going Bud Light. Have we got another company going woke and about to go broke here?
100%. I'm going to go ahead and guess that the new CEO is most likely a white liberal woman, specifically. Let's go ahead and forecast that.
Bud Light. Have we got another company going woke and about to go broke here?
I think so. The main thing to me that stuck out about this is that somebody took a logo that was, a little bit interesting, not super quirky or different, but just a little bit of an interesting logo, and turned it into the most bland, generic, AI-produced logo possible. And I think that that's what's really confusing to people. Like, what are they doing here? Why
it's
did
like
they
the
change
food
this?
at the
Cracker
restaurant.
Barrel is a beloved, kind of low-priced restaurant that you see when you're on road trips with your family. My kids love it. There's a candy store with like knickknacks in the front of every store, and you have the
guys. Let me know in the comments if you guys like this restaurant. Like, is it just me? I don't know, guys. I mean, it's cool to have like a little country store, like when you're traveling on the road, or like you need to have somewhere to basically stay for the night in your travel trailer while you're traveling. That's amazing. right? So amazing for you guys offering that type of service, right? But are there people who actually like eating here? Like they would say, I want to go to the Cracker Barrel to eat lunch or breakfast. Okay, is that a thing? Let me know. Maybe I don't know, but okay.
Candy store with like knickknacks in the front of every store, and you have
Like
these
the food is boring.
rocking chairs in front. It's just a really cute experience, and I think that people don't want it to become just another generic restaurant, and that's what it looks like is becoming. They showed pictures of a remodel inside. They got rid of kind of some of the cutesy things that they had, and it's sad to watch a company destroy itself needlessly. Really, I don't know about the woke part yet. We'll see what happens with that. But why do this? Why make yourself like everybody else?
Well, there was an interesting piece in the New York Times about this, and the New York Times actually said that Cracker Barrel restaurants were, and this was the New York Times reporting, they said they are white-coated and associated with conservatives. Is this whole sort of weird racialization and politicization of something that shouldn't be racialized or political at all?
I never felt that.
I mean, the thing is, it's completely not true. Again, I go on road trips with my kids, and they, Cracker Barrel, let's stop at Cracker Barrel.
Wait a second, hold on, guys.
Candy that they have in the store.
Hold on. I'm going to point out something that's very intriguing, though. The times that I have gone, I may or may not have been the only black person there. If that makes any sense. Like the only black person there. But I didn't really sense it was just like some like white coated thing. It didn't, it felt like America, if that makes any sense. But nasty, like just bland, nasty food, guys. But that's my experience with this place. I never really thought about it as, because guys, I don't go through my life being like, am I the only black person here? Guys, I've traveled the world and been like the only black person people have ever seen in life. Okay, so like, understand, I don't really care about things like that, truthfully. And then I never would have sat down and thought about it unless this conversation right here would have come up. I think, in fact, I was probably the only black person the 2 times I've gone. Yeah, I think I was the only black person.
And it's a mix of people from all over the country. It's not particularly white. There's all races are represented. And that idea that it's some kind of white coded thing is nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. It's them trying to bring down an American brand, and that American brand is falling for it.
Yeah, it's a shame we can't take away their visas. But hey, I want to go to New York City now, where you're from, where I'm from, and where Zohran Mamdani, who I've spoken about plenty of times on this show, is surging in the polls. He's now expected to be the next mayor of the Big Apple. We keep hearing more and more about this guy, his crazy economics, his adjacency to
communism,
very anti-Israeli and some would say anti-Semitic comments. As a former New Yorker yourself, what do you make of this, and what do you make of this in terms of the broader move of the Democrat Party towards socialism away from mainstream middle America?
Yeah, that's more communism, guys.
Leftism goes hand in hand now with anti-Semitism, and at the very minimum being anti-Israel, and that's what Zohran Mamdani represents. But beyond all that, all of his ideas, all of his socialist plans for New York City, they're largely going to fail. He can't do a lot of the things that he claims he can do. I mean, how many government-run grocery stores is he going to have in a city of 7 or 8 million people? 2, 3? It's not going to work. He can't really freeze rent. He wants to do it with rent-stabilized apartments. New Yorkers misunderstood it as all apartments.
How are you going to do that?
This is all going to fail. So the question is, what will he turn to when it does fail? And I think Jews in New York need to be careful that he's going to turn to vilifying them, and they're going to be in danger. And that's
okay. All right. So guys, here's the thing. Like the concept of rent stabilizing does not really make much sense, specifically coming from someone who has been like real estate investing for over a decade, guys. Right? I just want you to understand that this doesn't make any sense unless they're going to freeze the taxes, but he doesn't like people with money or means or assets. So he's going to directly target the people with those money, means, and assets, then while saying that the rent is going to have to be stabilized in a property that is going to keep going up in value and equity on a monthly or yearly or quarterly basis. Let's say this year. So all you're going to do is make people that have invested in these gigantic buildings to rent them out start pulling out. You understand that, right? Like it just to rent stabilize in a place like New York, knowing the laws of supply and demand. What are you talking about, ma'am Donnie? That just doesn't make much sense. It doesn't like I would never invest there. So that tells me that if I would never invest there, then most likely the people that are like billionaires and like 100 millionaires that are also investing in similar things are no longer going to do it. So now who's gonna be there to pay your taxes? What are you doing here, bro? Like you cannot get rid of the people with the means and the assets. You cannot do that, Bam Donnie. It just doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. I hope he loses. And I'm from New York. Understand this here. This is kind of why it kind of like offends me, like hearing that this man is even like getting close to anything. It's like, what do you mean by that, sir? Right? I don't want you there. The people don't want you there. Well, they do. They do. Because there are people who will never leave New York. I'm glad I left New York like 20 years ago. All right. Like understand over 20 years ago, actually. I'm glad I left New York. And I think that if you are there and you can't actually afford to live there, then you shouldn't be there. Okay. Or bro, go to Canada. What I mean by that is go to upstate New York, right? The namesake, let's say, go there, right? Go to the Finger Lakes area. No, you can't. No, not the Finger Lakes. Like go to outside of Albany or something, bro. Right? Go north of Pennsylvania in that region of New York, at least. Because if you do that, guess what you can do? You can probably live, bro. But the problem is that you got so comfortable living in this gigantic city. You love the life, right? But you can't afford it. Okay. And this is why there are so many people that are there voting for Mamdani. That tells you the rate of poverty in America's biggest city. That's what that tells you. These are people living above their means. Get out of New York City. You cannot afford to live in New York City. Like you're stressing and straining yourself to the point of most likely stroke and anxiety due to the amount of work you have to actually put in to pay your rent. Why are you living there? If that is your scenario, then get out of New York City. You cannot afford to live in New York City. You can't. If I'm the first person that's telling you that, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so blunt, but bro, get out of New York City right now. You can't afford it. And once that actually happens, guess what happens? Mamdani can never win in a place that is not like the majority of people are not impoverished. You understand that, right? I mean, you're choosing to live in a wealthy city that you cannot afford. It's way above your means. Then you're inviting a socialist communist to come into the city and run it. What is wrong with you? And if you listen closely, you hear all the people that actually own a gigantic amount of real estate saying, I don't want nothing to do with this. What happens when they leave, bro? What happens when they leave? A bunch of empty buildings that are going to get torn down, right? Because who's going to want to rent in a scenario where the rent doesn't even cover the property tax? Congratulations, Mamdani. You played yourself. Like, who's your advisor on this here? Like who's the financial like economy type of advisor here? Rent controlled buildings are ridiculous unless the government is going to make up for the shortcoming of that pay the actual rent. If that makes any sense. Because that's the only way I think it could work, guys. Because again, people don't get into business to lose money. Right? So you're asking a lot for someone to do. Buy a building, rent it, keep it up, because obviously you never want that building to move over to the government where now the government is responsible for taking care of the maintenance, et cetera, of that structure. Never do that. You're going to be waiting 30 months to fix an air conditioner, knowing the federal government, bro. What's wrong with you? Don't do this, okay? Understand, and these like community grocery stores, again, that's a no also, bro. All right. It just doesn't make much sense. Like, how is this going to be structured? I highly doubt they're going to even be able to maintain food safety standards in places like this here. Truth be told here, I just don't believe it. Guys, right? Why would you want more government to come in and fix this scenario when the actual fix in this, and specifically in New York, is going to be hardcore capitalism? I would say there more than anywhere else. That's the only way, because you cannot ostracize the billionaires that own most of the real estate. You cannot. You start doing that, you start to realize that they pull out, and now guess what you have? Who's paying your taxes, bro? Who's gonna pay for the community grocery store when the majority of the people that you're that are voting for you get tax returns? Okay, what are you talking about, bro? Whatever. That's where I'm at with that, guys. Either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, I will catch you guys later.